إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد.
Aile İslamcı, Kahveret Evladı, Resul Esam için efendilerimizin Sayın Enbiya-i Zem ve Resulü Kıyan Hazeratın Erbaa Şerifine Pirimiz bir Allah-u Beşir radıyallahu anh Efendimizin muhalif husus bu caminin bahanesi ve bugüne kadar içerisinden gelmiş geçmiş İmam Vezir Kaynlarının ve kahve-i ehli imanın erbahı sahibi Seyyid Abdülkerim ve Kıbrıs Rabbani Hazretleri için Allah rızası için Fatiha. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. İnnallâhe ve melâiketehu yusallûne alen-nebi. Ya eyyühellezîne âmenû sallu aleyhi ve sellimû teslîmâ. Allahümme salli alâ seyyidina Muhammed ve alâ seyyidina Muhammed. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayya aleyhisselam. Hayya aleyhisselam. Hayya aleyhisselam. Hayya aleyhisselam. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
Elhamdülillah, elhamdülillah, elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin, ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. Nahmadullah Teala ve nastağfir ve eşhedü en la ilahe illallah vahdehu la şerike leh. Eşhedü enne seyyidina Muhammeden abduhu ve habibuhu ve resuluhu. Sallallahu aleyhi ve ala alihi ve ezvacihi ve sahbihi tabi khulafai raşidin mahdi min ba'di. Ve zemmeti ala tahkik, hususen min hammeti khulafai rasulü ala tahkik, Umar el-Mu'minin, Hazreti Abu Bakr, Umar, Osman ve Ali ve ala baki sahabi tabi'in ridvanullah Teala aleyhim ecmain. Ya eyyuhel mu'minul hazirun. Ettakullah Teala ve te'innallaha mellezine tekvellezine hum muhsinun. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala aşrafil enbiya mursalin. Seyyidina Mevlana Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. All praises are due to Allah, Lord of the universes. All praises are due to Allah, who is the one, the unique, the eternal, the majestic, the generous. All praises are due to Allah, to whom there is no comparison. All praises are due to Allah, who created our father Adam alayhi salam and then honored the children of Adam. All praises are due to Allah, who sent Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salam as the master of the creation. Ya Allah, bless our master Muhammad alayhi salam, the light of guidance, the guide to goodness, the caller to guidance, the prophet of guidance, the imam of the people of taqwa, the messenger of the Lord of the worlds. And may peace and blessings be upon his noble family and blessed companions, especially upon the four Khulafai Rashidin, Hazrati Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazrati Umar Farooq, Hazrati Osman al-Ghani and Hazrati Ali al-Murtaza, and all those who follow them until the last day. Ya ayyuhal mu'minun, O believers, welcome to you on this holy day of Jummah, the holy month of Sha'ban, the month of the Holy Prophet alayhi wasalam. We have passed through the month of Rajab, and the month of Sha'ban is almost at an end. In a short time we will be welcoming our expected guest, the Sultan of the 11 months, the month of mercy, Shahru Ramazan. O believers, we should run to do more in Sha'ban before it departs from us. Because the Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, Sha'ban is a month between Rajab and Ramazan which is neglected by many people. And it is a month in which an account of the deeds is presented before the Lord of the universe. So I wish that my deeds be presented at a time when I am in a state of fasting. Let us not neglect the days of Sha'ban that are remaining with us, and to honor them and have days and nights of obedience and the pleasure of our Lord written in our books, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us to be His servants. That is the reason of our creation. He is saying in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Zariyat, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, I have only created jinns and men so that they may know me and worship me. Sadaqallahu Azim. That is the purpose of our creation, as stated by our Creator. Our purpose is to know our Lord and to worship our Lord, to serve Him. But in this world, in this asfal as-safilin, the lowest of the low, we have become distracted from this divine purpose. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Al-Infitar, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, when the sky breaks apart and when the stars fall, scattering, when the oceans are made to burst forth, and when the graves are turned upside down, then shall each soul know what has been sent forth and what it has held back. O man, what has fooled you from your Lord, the Karim, the most generous? Sadaqallahu Azim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us, what is fooling you? What is fooling you away from me? What is making you to forget me? What is making you to forget your reason of creation? Our Shaykh, Sahibul Saif, Shaykh Abdul Karim al-Kibrisiya Rabbani Qaddasallahu as-Sir is saying, teaching us what is fooling us away from our Lord, saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us to this world. We have no choice in it. He sent us here. And He's saying to us, we have sent you here for a reason. This is the reason, to know us and to worship us. Only to know me and to worship me, and this is not your home. This world is not your home. Don't make this world too luxurious for yourself, because then you don't want to leave. But this is not your house. You must come back to your own house. Your house is in paradise. If you're not finding the road back to your house, then you're going to find road back to the punishment place. And you may have a house there forever for you. So this dunya is the one that is distracting us and keeping us away from fulfilling our reason of creation. It is dunya that is distracting us away from our Lord. And to turn away from that distraction, we must understand what this dunya is. Hazrat Hassan al-Basri, Qaddatullah Sir, is saying, you chase the dunya and its pleasures when the dunya was a punishment for your father Adam alayhi salam. But shaitan and our ego trick us into believing that this dunya, it is our home. And when we think dunya is our home, we forget our real home, which is with Allah. This dunya has no value in the sight of Allah. One time the Holy Prophet ﷺ was walking with his Sahabis when they passed by the rotting carcass of a sheep. And he picked it up by its ear and said, who wants to buy this for 1 coin? And the Sahabi said, we wouldn't want to take it for even less than that because it is useless. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, does anyone want it for free? And the Sahabi said, Wallahi, even if it were alive, we wouldn't want it because it is deformed. And now it is dead. And Holy Prophet ﷺ said to them, I swear by Allah, this dunya is more low in the sight of Allah than this dead sheep is in your eyes. When we let the love of dunya to infect our hearts, then we lose our honor in the sight of Allah. Our Shaykh is saying to us, we have another special night. After the Laylatul Mi'raj during the month of Sha'ban, we have another special night that is coming during the month of Ramadan. These 4 holy nights are during these 3 holy months. If we are taking care of these days properly, then definitely as soon as the Ramadan finishes, the believers feel like they just entered into another world. The following year, if Allah gives to them life to live. If not, then they are already prepared to go to the other side without any fear. Muslims today are fearful of death. What kind of faith is this? What kind of faith is that you have fear from death? You have fear of reunion with your Lord, to go back to your Lord? What kind of faith is this? What is separating you from that? Isn't it this dunya? Isn't it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us, this dunya, it is a trouble to you. The love of dunya is a trouble to you. Isn't it what the Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying to us? You are going to be so many in Akhir Zaman, but your enemies are not going to have any fear from you because you are going to have a sickness in you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to remove the haybat, the majestic look, the majestic powers away from you, and your enemies are going to look at you and they're not going to have any fear from you at all. And they said, Ya Rasulullah, are they going to be very little in number? They said, no, the opposite. In numbers, there are going to be so many of them, but they are going to fall into the love of this dunya. They're going to love dunya, and they're going to hate death. They're not going to want to hear about death. Is that what happened to the nation today? Ask your own selves and you will know by your own self. Sit down alone in your room and ask yourself, do I have the love of dunya in my heart? Do I have the fear? Do I hate death? You will know by your own selves. You don't need anybody to tell you anything then. Don't blame me to say, he's saying these words. I am checking myself all the time, 24 hours a day, to see if my heart is moving to dunya or akhirat. You must do the same. If you do it, then slowly, maybe the protection will come to you. Maybe the help will reach to you. When the awliya's help is reaching to you, slowly they remove that fear away and they replace it with a different love into your heart. And that is the real love. Otherwise, dunya love is only temporary and passing and is only giving trouble to mankind. We are in this dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent us to this dunya. So the question that we must be asking ourselves is, how do we live in this dunya without loving this dunya? How do we live in this dunya but we live for akhirat? The Holy Prophet ﷺ is giving us the answer. Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh is narrating that Holy Prophet ﷺ said, the world is cursed. So is everything in it. Is cursed. Except for the zikr of Allah and what is helpful to it, and the person of knowledge and the seeker of knowledge. And the Prophet of Allah speaks the truth. This is how to escape from dunya's curse while being inside the dunya. To be in zikrullah, to be in the remembrance of Allah, to be in the areas that helps you to remember Allah, to be with the people of knowledge, to be with the seekers of knowledge. What the Holy Prophet ﷺ is describing in this hadith sharif is nothing other than the way of the friends of Allah. The friends of Allah, their job is to bring man from dunya to Mawla. And they do this by making a person to live for akhirat while living inside the dunya. Because the taste of living for Allah comes only from being with the people of Allah. So many people today think that living for Allah comes from sitting in a classroom, studying Arabic, memorizing Quran, memorizing Hadith, studying Tajweed, Tafsir, studying non-stop. We are following the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and he taught the Sahabe Kiram knowledge through experience. He gave them the taste of living for Allah by being in a Jamaat and living in a community for the sake of Allah. They went through easy times together, they went through hard times together. They made zikr together, they ate together, they celebrated together, they mourned together. And with everything they did, they began with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and dedicated their entire lives for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what it means to be with the people of knowledge and to be a seeker of knowledge. That is how we will escape dunya's curse while living in it. And that Jamaat, it does not end when we take our last breath in dunya. That Jamaat continues in the next life, because the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his inheritors, they have been given the crown of Shafaat, the crown of intercession. And that intercession is extended to those whom they love. Today, so many are denying Shafaat, intercession. But the biggest proof of Shafaat has been preserved in Sahih al-Bukhari, in the hadith that is saying, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The believers will gather on the day of resurrection and they will say, would that someone intercede for us with our Lord. They will go to Adam alayhi salam and say, you are the father of humanity. Allah created you with His own hands. The angels made sajda to you, and He taught you the names of all things. So intercede for us with our Lord that we may be relieved of this place. Adam alayhi salam will say, it is not fitting for me. Then he will remember his mistake, and he will feel ashamed, and he will say, go to Nuh, for he was the first messenger that Allah sent to the people of the earth. They will go to him and Nuh alayhi salam will say, it is not fitting for me. Then he will remember his request for his Lord to do that of which he had no knowledge, which is to send the flood. And he will feel shame, and he will say, go to Halilur Rahman, the intimate friend of the merciful, Ibrahim alayhi salam. They will go to him and Ibrahim alayhi salam will say, it is not fitting for me. So go to Musa Kalimullah, the servant to whom Allah spoke directly and to whom He revealed the Torah. They will go to him and Musa alayhi salam will say, it is not fitting for me. Then he will remember when he killed a man without a right, and he will feel ashamed in front of his Lord and will say, go to Isa, the servant of Allah, and his messenger, his word, and his spirit. They will go to him, and Isa alayhi salam will say, it is not fitting for me. So go to Muhammad alayhi salam, the servant who was forgiven for his past and future sins. So they will come to me, and I will proceed until I ask my Lord for permission, and I will be granted permission. When I see my Lord, I will make sajda to Him, and He will let me remain in that state as long as He wills, and then I will be addressed. Raise your head and ask for your request, and will be granted. Speak, and your saying will be heard. Intercede, and your intercession will be accepted. I will raise my head and praise Allah with a supplication. He will teach me, and I will intercede. He will fix a limit for me who will be admitted into paradise. I will come back to Allah again. And when I see my Lord, the same will happen. I will intercede and Allah will fix a limit for me who will be admitted into paradise. I will come back a third and a fourth time, and it will be said, none will remain in the hellfire except those whom the Quran has imprisoned and are destined to remain therein forever. O believers, this is our hope, to be from those who will be granted shafaat. And that secret of shafaat has also been given to the inheritors of the Holy Prophet ﷺ as well. Hazrati Hassan al-Basri Qaddasallahu sir is saying, befriend many of the truthful believers, for indeed for them is an intercession on the day of resurrection. Ya ayyuhal mu'minun, live in this world so that we may have honor in the akhirat. This dunya is not our home. Our home is in the next life. This month of Sha'ban is coming to an end, and the month of Ramadan is about to begin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us these days and nights for us to connect ourselves more to that reality. We should not waste this time, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask us about how we spent the breath of life. In these days and nights, we should run to be in that kind of jama'at that lets us to escape from the curse of dunya. We're asking our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take the love of dunya out of our hearts, to take the fitna of dunya out of our hearts, to take the confusion of dunya out of our hearts, and out from our jamaat, and out from our children, and to put the love of akhirat into our hearts. We're asking to stay in the jamaat of the friends of Allah, to stay with the people of Shafaat, to be written as the murids of our Shaykh in this life and the next life. Amin. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah al-azim, al-lazi la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayh. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa kullu shay'in qadir. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد على كل شيء قدير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد على كل شيء قدير لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين سبح قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح سبح قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح سبح قدوس ربنا رب الملائكة والروح إن دين عند الله الإسلام قام الصلاة اللهم صل وسلم
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على السلام حي على السلام حي على السلام حي على الفلاح وإقام الصلاة وإقام الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله